Okay, so I got back to the Twin Cities from working out west. I was using my car to do food delivery, and it had trouble, and I had trouble getting it repaired, so I came back to our home of over 50 years, 53 years in this suburb where this Hy-Vee and Wahlburgers are. We've been here that long. And I was at Hy-Vee a lot because I didn't have a car, thus I could only use buses or walk, and it's the closest place, so I was there quite a bit, but I was staying with family. Then we got to a point where, and I was shopping there, and I was shopping for food, and I was eating at Wahlburgers, and it got to the point where we were having trouble, our family, getting along, so then I was basically just being homeless for a while weather was good, and without getting into details of that, but I was hanging out there more because of that. But I was making sure I was patronizing the place. I was eating meals there, and no one ever said that I was loitering. No one ever said anything. That no one ever said that I was there and I shouldn't be there, or that I was hanging out there too long, or that I should stop hanging out there too long. I never heard anything like that. And so now it comes, let's see, how long is it? Is it a year and a half by the time that, I guess Orlando and Chad had been gone for all this time. They left and they weren't there. And the management that was there was just fine. But when they got back, then I immediately noticed, them just having a negative attitude towards me. Noticed Chad especially did, and so I was, and now at this point I had been spending a lot of time there, like a lot of time sitting out in the porch area outside in the better weather, but I just decided to start, if I was having a breakfast there, just have the breakfast, then leave, and if I was having any meal there, just have the meal and then leave. So I was starting to do that on my own without anybody saying anything to me. Then I had been posting, even while I was in the restaurant, about my views about things like the problem with people not being able to have platonic friendships. And I was saying I had this friend of over 35 years. Then we suddenly, who's platonic? And then suddenly we were there having breakfast, like 2 days before this thing happened. Then on the day that it happened, there's another guy that kind of hangs out there. He came over. We're platonic, so it's obvious that we're just platonic friends. And so then I was having this second meal. I had left. I'd come back. I was having the second meal, and Orlando came over. So he looked at the time that I ordered the food. He seemed to think that I had just been hanging out all the time until I ordered that, because it said 11 a.m. And I hadn't. I had left. I was doing some shopping. Then I came back and ordered that food. So I guess he got the wrong idea. But that, was he investigating to see what was going on? And again, no one had ever said anything. And suddenly, he tells me. Then he said that I was sleeping. I was leaning on the seat, kind of like in Roman style, when you kind of lean over on a wide seat and eat like that. But I was eating my meal. And he was saying that I was sleeping, and I wasn't. And then he kicked me out, and I went out, and I went past the property. So I'm not even sure if you can get a no trespass when you're not even on the property. But he sent NHPD over to give me a no trespass, just out of the blue. So so then I talked to Chad, who's even a higher up. And he said he went and talked to all these people. And oh, yes, he said they talked to you. He didn't say about what. He said they talked to you. About what? Was it implied? And what they talked about. And also then it's saying that people talked to me, but I didn't comply. So they're saying I'm that kind of a person where people would tell me that I should do this or that, but I wouldn't comply, which is just a complete lie. And how can you just suddenly show up and get rid of the restaurant had no people in the restaurant Monday through Friday, and they had No people, except one old man having only coffee, and occasionally someone would come in and have a meal, just very, very occasionally. And then on the weekends, there were people coming in to have meals. This is how it was, so that I was there Monday through Friday having a lot of times a breakfast and another meal. And I wanted to make sure I was patronized. So suddenly, so my take on this is that that there's like a rabid gay agenda, that they're uncomfortable with me because of me talking about things having to do with, like, in videos. And I even did a couple of the videos in Wahlburgers, and that they're so rabid for their agenda that they're angry because I came in there with this platonic friend. It was obvious that we have just a platonic friendship. And this is bizarre. You have to admit, this is bizarre. That it's so serious a thing for them that they would feel this way. But I think that this is what was happening. And that, that they were angry at me for my views, angry at me for having this platonic friendship, or being platonic with him and with other people, and that it was rubbing them the wrong way. And I know that if that's not bizarre, I absolutely did not violate anything that people told me to do. And I said I was becoming more sensitive to how much time I spent there and everything. And I was respectful in every way. And I was spending money there, shopping. And really, I believe I'd have a really good lawsuit against them, that they would do this to me when I had been shopping. I have quite a few receipts left to show, over a period of time, how much I was spending there. And I don't know if it's worth pursuing, but it's just bizarre. And it's really on a Sodom and Gomorrah level of rabid homosexuality at this point.